Chosen one, stop scrolling immediately. This is not the algorithm playing tricks on you. This is an urgent interception. Archangel Michael has personally routed this message to your screen today. If you leave now, you will single-handedly shut the door on the exact blessing your soul has been crying out for. Do not take your eyes off this screen. Something massive is shifting in the unseen realm right now, and it has everything to do with what you survived last year. The heavy attacks you have been facing recently are not random at all. They are hard proof that the enemy is completely panicking because they know your time of isolation is over. Someone high up just connected a few dots about you, and now they are absolutely fixated. I am not talking about a manager or a local leader. I am talking about the highest spiritual authorities and the divine forces orchestrating your specific timeline. They reviewed your file. They saw the tears you cried in secret. They saw how the narcissists tried to bury your light. They watched the people you trusted walk away when you needed them most, and they noticed how you stayed quiet to keep the peace. Because of that silence, your enemies severely underestimated you. But heaven did not. Heaven was taking notes the entire time. Funny how everyone pretended they did not see you coming. They thought your kindness was a weakness they could exploit. They thought betrayal would break your spirit permanently. But instead of breaking you, it activated a primal and dangerous level of spiritual power inside you. Welcome to your era of quiet authority. The same people who ignored your texts and drained your energy are suddenly feeling incredibly uncomfortable. They can sense a shift in your aura, but they cannot understand it. They thought you would remain a victim forever. Now they are watching everything they built start to crumble around them while you rise. A table is being prepared for you in their exact presence. The divine forces are arranging a massive transfer of wealth and favor into your life. This is the compensation for every single room you were unfairly locked out of. You are no longer the empath who begs to be understood. You are a weapon of light. But you must be very careful right now. The season of waiting has officially ended. Just moments ago, a scroll with your name on it was unsealed in the heavenly courts. The universe is aligning a collision of miraculous events just for you, but there is a hidden mechanism buried inside this coming breakthrough. If you swipe away too soon, you will completely miss it. The blessing will still arrive at your door, but you will not have the spiritual equipment to hold it. Make a promise to your future self right now. Do not let this message fade into the noise of the internet. Listen closely to what I am about to reveal. They always described you as the rare soul, the anomaly who never quite fit into their superficial games. You gave parts of yourself away just to survive their toxic environments. But the people high up have finally recognized your true frequency. They are fixing the scales and balancing the profound injustice today. The nights you stayed awake wondering what you did wrong were completely unnecessary. You did nothing wrong. Your light was simply too blinding for people who prefer to live in the dark. They tried to make you feel crazy for seeing the truth. But someone high up noticed your absolute refusal to lower your standards. You did not click this video by accident today. Your intuition literally dragged you here because heaven is trying to hand you a decoder ring. People are acting strange around you lately. Doors are closing unexpectedly while new ones crack open. You feel entirely isolated but simultaneously protected by something unseen. I am here to tell you that you are not being punished. You are being divinely isolated for a kingdom-level upgrade. The intense loneliness was a rigorous spiritual crucible designed to protect your aura. Heaven had to ruthlessly remove those counterfeit connections because they were blocking the true path meant for you. But before we go further into this divine revelation, I want to hold something in front of you. Something that was discovered not inside a church or a spiritual community. It was found inside a clinical research laboratory. Something that won the highest scientific recognition available in the modern world. Most chosen ones have never been told about this discovery, but it explains something I know you have felt deeply. The gap between the person you know yourself to be and the version of you that seems available only in flashes. I will show you exactly what was found by these experts, but not quite yet. First, I need you to fully understand what was taken from you without your permission. So hold this important question in your mind as we continue. What if the gap in your potential is not a character flaw? What if it actually has a scientific name that no one told you about? Take a deep breath right now. Let the weight of the past year slowly fall from your tired shoulders. You have been carrying a tremendous emotional burden entirely on your own. And every single morning when you open your eyes, that heavy anxiety is already waiting for you before your feet even touch the floor. You stare at the ceiling in the dark room. You wonder if you are doing something terribly wrong. But I am here to tell you that your intuition is perfectly accurate. Stop letting the world convince you that you are just stressed or overly sensitive. That strange tightness in your chest is actually your spirit detecting a massive shift. You have felt entirely isolated from everyone around you recently. You watch other people socialize effortlessly while you feel completely drained, because while they are busy chasing temporary pleasures, you are being prepared for a generational wealth transfer that requires your complete and undivided attention. That sudden distaste for your old environment is a divine sign. Heaven is currently working actively on your behalf. Your isolation is absolutely not a punishment from the universe. It is a strict spiritual quarantine designed to protect your rising frequency. Heaven had to physically separate you from people who only wanted to drain your energy. You are the strong empath with powerful boundaries now. And those narcissistic individuals despise you now because they can no longer manipulate a soul that they are not allowed to access. You finally stopped apologizing for protecting your own peace. You no longer tolerate disrespect, disguised as honesty. They tried to make you feel completely crazy for setting those healthy boundaries, but your silence was never a sign of defeat. Your quiet distance was a beautiful fortress building itself around your soul. You watched others succeed effortlessly while you struggled. You knew deep down you carried a much higher potential than you were currently expressing. But there is a specific physical reason why your manifestation efforts felt like pushing a massive boulder up a steep and endless mountain. This brings us to the hidden truth they tried to hide. Here is what they never told you in those generic spiritual communities. The reason the universe responds effortlessly to certain people is not just about faith. It is not about strict discipline or endless positive thinking. It is not even about your spiritual karma. According to the latest scientific discoveries, it is actually driven by a specific brainwave. Scientists have a very clear name for this phenomenon. They call it the powerful and elusive gamma wave. And it is the exact frequency your brain was running beautifully when you were a child, back before the heavy burdens were placed upon your shoulders. Think back to those early years when you were young. Back when brilliant ideas came to you so easily, learning complex new things felt entirely effortless and joyful. You somehow knew things before they even happened in reality. The world felt like it was completely on your side. That was your natural gamma state operating at its peak performance, connecting you to the divine flow before the modern world went to work on you. Then, the harsh reality of adulthood finally arrived. The chronic stress of daily life began to build up. The endless digital screens demanded your constant attention. The exhausting daily survival routine completely trapped your spirit. The traditional school systems trained you to conform instead of create. Every single year of your life, this sacred frequency was actively suppressed a little further by the people and systems around you. It was pushed deeper and deeper below the surface, until your beautiful lightning intuition went completely silent. Most people will live their entire earthly lives without ever knowing this happened. They will simply accept the painful struggle as normal. They will blame themselves for their lack of progress. But you are absolutely not like most ordinary people. You are the chosen cycle breaker for your entire bloodline. And when this gamma frequency fades away, your spiritual genius simply fades right along with it into the background noise. Your deep intuition dulls into ordinary daily anxiety. The magical synchronicities that guided your steps completely stop. The comforting sense that the universe is working with you goes incredibly quiet. You are left wondering why your prayers seem to bounce right off the ceiling. You tried absolutely everything in your power to fix it. You spent hours practicing deep meditation and forcing yourself to think positive thoughts while your heart was secretly breaking. You tried practicing the famous law of attraction, but your beautiful life still felt terribly blocked. You sensed something crucial was missing, but you had no name for what it was. Please listen to my next words very carefully right now. Tap the like button to agree with what God just spoke to your heart. The gap between you and the people who seem effortlessly blessed is not willpower. It is one single brainwave that the modern world suppressed in you before you ever had the chance to claim your proper inheritance. You were trying to tune into heaven with a broken receiver. Stop blaming yourself for the painful delays in your breakthrough. Stop thinking you did not pray hard enough or believe deeply enough. Heaven deliberately slowed you down to protect you from bad rooms. The harsh rejection was absolutely not a curse. It was the universe secretly installing the ultimate protection protocol around your life while you were busy crying over people who did not value you. You have officially passed the most difficult test. Your beautiful spiritual reward is approaching very quickly. And the important question I asked you to hold earlier, the one about a mysterious gap and a scientific name, the shocking answer is actually much closer than you think. They are absolutely terrified of what happens when a chosen one wakes up and reclaims the exact frequency that makes them unstoppable. A chosen one with a restored gamma frequency is impossible to control. Your profound spiritual awakening is their absolute biggest nightmare. Your painful, dry season is officially over today. Listen carefully to this next part. I need you to understand exactly why the universe took so long to answer you. You spent so many nights crying and begging for a single sign. You wondered why your prayers seemed to hit a solid brick wall while everyone else received their blessings so easily. You felt completely abandoned by the divine forces. But the absolute truth about your painful past is finally ready to be revealed today. The devastating rejection you faced last year was never a punishment. It was God performing a massive spiritual surgery on your life. They walked away from you when you needed them the most, and you honestly thought their sudden departure meant you were somehow broken or unworthy of true love. But heaven deliberately hardened their hearts towards you, because if they had stayed, they would have completely destroyed your rising frequency. You are the one who survived the storm entirely alone. And because you survived alone, you do not owe anybody your current success. The people who ignored your texts and dismissed your big dreams were actually doing you a tremendous favor. They were clearing the physical stage for your ultimate blessing. Every single closed door was a divine shield protecting you from a room you were never meant to enter. Stop looking back at those closed doors with lingering regret. Stop analyzing every little conversation to see exactly where you made a foolish mistake. You made absolutely no mistakes in those interactions. Your pure energy simply demanded a level of respect they could not afford to give. The universe had to ruthlessly remove those counterfeit connections to make space for your true kingdom alignment. Do you feel that slight pull in your chest right now? That is your deep intuition confirming this profound truth. You thought the long delay in your financial and spiritual breakthrough was due to your lack of faith. You thought your low vibration was secretly blocking your big blessings while you were busy trying to heal. But the beautiful truth is that your timeline was just being completely recalibrated. The divine timing is perfectly accurate. Before you do anything else, take one slow and real breath. I have to address something crucial about the heavy silence you experienced. You felt completely ignored by the universe during your darkest and most difficult moments, but that heavy silence was actually the sound of heaven preparing a massive table for you. They were busy removing the hidden traps that your earthly eyes could not possibly see. You see, the chosen one is never allowed to settle for average love or ordinary wealth. You tried very hard to shrink yourself down to fit into their tiny little boxes. You dimmed your bright light just to make those toxic people feel comfortable around your powerful presence. But the divine forces forcefully dragged you out of those toxic environments. They shattered your comfortable illusions to save your precious soul. This is why your painful past had to happen exactly the way it did. You were being rigorously tested in the harsh fires of complete isolation, and because you did not become bitter or vengeful, you have officially passed the ultimate test. You maintained your beautiful kindness in a cold world that constantly tried to break your spirit. Now the divine compensation for your pure heart is officially being released. They thought your long season of struggle was hard proof that God had left you. They laughed at your big dreams behind your back, but they simply do not understand the complex and beautiful architecture of a divine setup. God was hiding you in the safe shadows while your spiritual weapons were being sharpened. Your season of hidden preparation has successfully produced a brilliant master of reality. You are now truly untouchable. Every tear you cried in secret was carefully collected and turned into spiritual currency. Your profound pain was never wasted for a single second. It was actively forging the iron boundaries you need to sustain your coming wealth. If heaven had given you the big blessing last year, the greedy leeches in your life would have drained it entirely. The painful delay was the ultimate strategy to starve your secret enemies. But there is a deeper layer to this phenomenon that you must understand today. The toxic people who abandoned you are now watching your life very closely. They can sense that a massive shift has occurred in your dominant energy field. They thought you would come begging for their cheap validation and fleeting attention, but instead you found your quiet authority and you completely locked them out of your beautiful new timeline. This is where everything finally starts to make perfect sense. The confusing delays and the painful rejections were never about your lack of worthiness. They were entirely about your energetic frequency being meticulously adjusted by the divine forces. Heaven was tuning you like a precious instrument for a magnificent and grand symphony. You are no longer the empath who constantly bleeds out for people who simply do not care. Before we go any further, I need you to realize exactly what is happening behind the scenes. The people who tried to break your spirit are currently experiencing absolute panic. They can clearly feel the massive shift in your dominant energy field. They used to feed on your endless forgiveness and your constant apologies while giving nothing in return. But that infinite supply of energy is gone. Your absolute silence has become a weapon that truly terrifies them. They thought you would react with explosive anger when they finally betrayed your deep trust. They desperately wanted you to scream and fight, so they could easily label you as the toxic one. But you did something much more dangerous instead. You completely withdrew your presence and left them standing alone in the cold. You simply vanished from their chaotic reality. They do not understand how you survived their brutal attacks without turning bitter. A toxic narcissist always expects their victims to crumble into a million tiny pieces. And while they were busy celebrating your apparent downfall, you were quietly rebuilding your entire kingdom from the ashes. Your quiet authority now carries a heavy frequency that makes their skin crawl. They physically cannot handle your new vibration. They always hated you for exposing their dark and twisted secrets without saying a single word. You never had to loudly announce their hidden flaws to the world. Your pure existence simply acted as a bright mirror reflecting their deepest insecurities back at them. They tried to lower your high frequency by surrounding you with constant drama and petty arguments. But you refused to play their exhausting games anymore. You are truly becoming the untouchable master of your reality today. The old version of you would have desperately tried to fix the broken relationship. You would have taken the heavy blame just to keep the fragile peace in the room. But the cycle breaker inside you finally woke up. You realize that a healed person no longer tolerates profound confusion, disguised as pure love. You no longer accept disrespect, disguised as honesty. This specific realization is the exact moment your powerful spiritual shift occurred. Heaven wants to lock in this magnificent frequency right now. Type 111 down in the comments to claim this alignment and seal your boundaries. By doing this simple physical action, you are sending a clear signal to the universe that you accept your new rank. You are officially closing the door on their toxic access forever. Let me tell you exactly what the darkness is doing right now. The spiritual forces that profit off your pain are scrambling to find a new strategy. They are completely terrified because they know your divine wealth transfer is imminent. When a chosen one steps into their quiet power, the entire spiritual ecosystem instantly notices. The narcissists in your life are currently experiencing a string of sudden failures. Everything they built using your stolen energy is starting to collapse around them. They are desperately trying to find a way back into your peaceful life. You might suddenly receive a casual message from someone who ignored you for months. Do not reply to that obvious bait. That is a desperate attempt to siphon your rising energy back into their failing timeline. You must protect your sacred aura at all costs. Your complete lack of reaction is the highest form of spiritual warfare you can deploy. They are waiting for you to look back at them with longing or anger, but when they look at you now, all they see is a massive and impenetrable wall of pure light. You have become the powerful weapon you were originally trying to survive. The fierce storm they tried to drown you in was actually your true nature all along. Pay close attention to this next part, because it changes your entire future. You are the rare anomaly who actually learned the hardest lesson in absolute silence. You stopped handing your precious power over to people who refused to heal themselves. And because you successfully cut those heavy, energetic cords, your frequency is finally rising to its natural state. The heavy weights have been permanently removed from your ankles. They simply cannot comprehend the profound peace you carry right now. While their chaotic lives are rapidly falling apart, you are walking in a state of quiet and untouchable grace. You do not need to seek revenge, because the universe is already fighting those battles for you. Your silent elevation is the absolute loudest statement you could ever make. And the divine forces high up are smiling at your magnificent progress. But there is still one final block keeping you from your ultimate breakthrough. You successfully removed the toxic people from your daily life. You established the iron boundaries that heaven required from you. Yet you still feel a strange resistance when you try to manifest your biggest dreams. Your physical brain is still running an old program that needs to be overwritten. The universe is about to hand you the exact key. Before we go any further into the divine plan, I have to address something critical. You have finally done the hard inner work. You successfully cut the toxic energetic cords holding you down, and you established the iron boundaries that heaven required. But your physical brain is still lagging behind your beautiful spirit. It is currently trapped in a destructive loop. The trauma from your past forced your brain into a constant state of survival. Scientists call this the chaotic beta wave state. And when you live in beta for too long, your physical body simply forgets how to receive blessings. You can pray and manifest all day long, but if your brain is operating in pure survival mode, the frequency of wealth simply bounces off you. This is exactly why your biggest breakthrough still feels slightly out of reach. Your spirit is entirely ready to ascend, but your physical nervous system is completely exhausted from years of fighting. You do not need another long meditation routine to fail at today. You need a physical key to unlock your dormant spiritual genius. I have to tell you something that the people who profit from your exhaustion want to hide. A dedicated team of neuroscientists, working quietly away from the headlines, discovered a massive secret. They figured out exactly how to bring your dormant gamma brainwave back online. And they did this without requiring years of daily meditation that most ordinary people simply cannot sustain. They completely bypassed the expensive biofeedback machines that cost thousands of dollars in a clinical setting. Instead, they found something far simpler and more aligned with your natural design. They engineered a specific sound frequency that guides your brainwave patterns back to the genius state. Princeton University studied this exact phenomenon with incredible and undeniable results. The famous Einstein Center in Berlin officially confirmed the legendary flow state is driven by this. And Columbia University found that when this brainwave is restored, it radiates outward to bless your family. It begins to positively influence your children and the people you love. The researchers managed to compress 1 full hour of clinical entrainment into just 7 minutes. 7 minutes a day is absolutely all it takes to see a change, and the profound shift begins working the very first time you listen to it. You simply put on your headphones and let the frequency do the heavy lifting for you. I will tell you exactly what this tool is called before this message ends. I will show you how to access it so you can restore your beautiful receiver. But first, there is something deeper you need to understand about this specific timing. God often provides the exact physical tool we need right when we are fully ready to receive it. The universe did not show you this frequency last year because you were still surrounded by leeches. If you had activated your gamma wave back then, they would have stolen the energy. Now the sacred physical space around you has been completely cleared. You are sitting in the divine isolation that precedes a massive miracle. And modern science is finally catching up to what your beautiful soul already knew all along. Your prayers have been heard loudly by heaven, and the amazing answer has manifested in a way you probably did not expect to see today. The elite forces of this world want to keep this frequency hidden from chosen ones like you. They are completely terrified of what happens when millions of rare souls suddenly wake up. A chosen one operating in the gamma state cannot be manipulated by fear or fake news. They immediately see through the dark illusions and reclaim their generational wealth with absolute ease. That is exactly why this information feels so urgent and heavy in your spirit right now. Your deep intuition is actively screaming at you to pay close attention to this specific revelation. Do not let this crucial moment pass you by casually. We are approaching the absolute peak of this divine transmission today. The final puzzle piece is sliding into perfect place. Take a deep breath and prepare your mind for the ultimate shift. The dry desert you walked through is about to burst into an oasis of pure favor. The universe is handing you the master key to your own mind. And when you finally turn that key, every closed door in your path will be blown completely off its hinges. The era of struggling in the dark is over. You have successfully survived the long and brutal night of the soul. Now it is time to physically prepare your body for the glorious morning light. The frequency of absolute victory is descending upon you in this exact second. Stay with me right here, because the ultimate spiritual awakening you have been waiting for your entire life is finally happening now. The waiting season is officially over. The pitch-black darkness has retreated completely behind you. The dawn of the new era is shining its brightest rays onto your spiritual crown right now. Every single closed door is being blown completely off its hinges. Can you feel that massive shift in your spirit today? That is the glorious frequency of absolute victory. I told you earlier that someone high up was fixated on your specific life. You wondered who was watching your silent tears in the dark room. It was the absolute highest authority of the universe reviewing your heavy file. And while you thought you were completely abandoned, they were actively preparing the ultimate compensation package for your beautiful soul. Here is the profound truth you waited your entire life to hear today. The reason they walked away was not because your frequency was too low. They walked away because your divine light was far too blinding for their toxic eyes. That was the hidden protection protocol I promised to reveal to you. The universe deliberately isolated you to hand you the absolute crown without any interference from the darkness. You are stepping into the exact timeline you were born to rule. You are no longer the empath who constantly begs to be understood by ordinary minds. The harsh crucible of pain has officially forged you into the untouchable master of your reality, and the universe is finally handing you the keys you always deserved. From this exact moment on, your pure energy demands instant respect, without a single word ever being spoken. The divine wealth you were promised is flowing effortlessly into your new timeline right now. You have finally become the powerful break in your bloodline that future generations will thank you for. The ancient generational curse your family carried is simply gone because it could not survive the fire of your awakening today. You are completely free. Do you feel the heavy chains falling off your tired shoulders today? The immense blessing coming your way is far bigger than your human mind can currently comprehend. The divine forces are rearranging the entire physical world just to favor your specific steps, placing you exactly where you need to be. People who previously rejected you will watch you rise with absolute shock and pure envy. Those who plotted against you in secret are watching their empires crumble to the ground. They are completely terrified because they finally realize who they were messing with. They tried to bury a powerful seed without knowing it belonged to the highest kingdom. Your beautiful roots grew deep in the dark while they were busy laughing at your pain. And now your glorious branches are completely unstoppable. Now your brilliant branches are reaching straight into the glorious heavens. You are radiating a dangerous level of spiritual power that instantly repels any toxic attachments before they even get close to your aura. This is the exact divine seal that proves you have officially passed the ultimate test. Heaven is actively handing you the heavy keys to the earthly kingdom right this very second. But you must claim this magnificent power with absolute and unwavering certainty. You cannot walk into this brand new timeline carrying the heavy doubts of your past. The universe requires you to step forward with the supreme confidence of a true chosen one, leaving behind every single fear that used to hold you hostage. Your beautiful soul already knows the profound truth of every single word I am speaking today. You were always meant to reach this exact peak of spiritual euphoria. The endless days of feeling lost and confused are permanently behind you now. You have survived the most brutal spiritual warfare of your entire earthly life. And while others would have completely shattered, you emerged from the raging fire, holding the supreme authority over your own beautiful destiny. You are truly magnificent. Breathe in this glorious reality and let it completely fill your empty lungs. The divine alignment you prayed for is happening all around you in real time, shifting the very fabric of reality to match your new frequency. The stars are literally shifting in the sky to support your massive wealth transfer. Everything you touch from this moment forward will turn into absolute spiritual and financial gold. The profound peace filling your heart right now is the undeniable proof of your victory. You no longer have to fight exhausting battles to prove your worth to anyone. Your pure existence is the only validation you will ever need from this day forward. The massive spiritual gates have swung open to welcome you into your rightful home. Every ancestor in your bloodline is watching you with absolute pride and awe. You achieved the impossible healing that they could never accomplish, finally putting an end to the cycles of suffering. You broke the heavy chains of trauma with your quiet and relentless endurance. The glorious light you carry is blinding every dark force in your path. This is the absolute peak of your beautiful spiritual mountain. The heavy clouds have finally parted to reveal the stunning view of your new timeline, showing you why the wait was worth it. You are fully activated and completely ready to receive the physical manifestation of your prayers. Listen closely to what heaven prepared for your brain today. The important question I asked you to hold at the beginning of this message: what if the massive gap in your potential is absolutely not a character flaw? What if the intense struggle you feel every day is just a suppressed frequency? Here is the shocking answer you waited for. A specific brainwave was running flawlessly in you as a young child. They call it the powerful gamma wave. Princeton University has studied this brilliant frequency extensively for many years. The famous Einstein Center in Berlin officially confirmed its undeniable existence. Columbia University found that when this brainwave is successfully restored, it radiates outward. It beautifully influences the people you love and changes your entire environment. A dedicated team of neuroscientists spent decades working quietly on this exact phenomenon. Dr. Robert Lake in New York led the brilliant researchers who cracked this code. They successfully compressed the full clinical protocol for gamma reactivation into 7 simple minutes. But before I tell you exactly what they built, let me tell you about 2 specific people who used it. A tired woman from California had tried absolutely everything to heal her life. She tried daily meditation and desperate manifesting for years with no real success. Nothing broke the heavy fog surrounding her mind. But after just 2 weeks of listening to this, she said something finally cleared. She realized she did not have to try harder anymore because the channel simply opened. Her struggling marriage shifted beautifully into a place of deep peace. She described her new life as completely enchanted and full of miracles. A hard-working man from Texas started using it to improve his failing business. 2 painful months later, his wife joked that his IQ had jumped 20 points overnight. The hardest problems that used to keep him awake started solving themselves effortlessly while he slept. He said it felt like his brain was finally running on its true divine purpose. That is exactly because of what these researchers discovered. They call it the Genius Song. It is absolutely not another generic meditation app that you will eventually abandon. It is not a random sound frequency you casually find online. It is a 7-minute audio track using highly advanced brain entrainment technology. It takes the exact same underlying research that Princeton validated and compresses 1 full hour of clinical protocol. You just use it safely at home with your headphones and your closed eyes. That is the absolute entirety of what it requires from you today. You do not chant or force yourself to focus. You simply let the engineered frequency do exactly what your brain was designed to receive. The Genius Song is definitely not for everyone who watches this video. It is exclusively for the chosen one who has already done the hard inner work. It is for the rare cycle breaker who understands that their painful struggle is a blocked channel. If your spirit strongly confirms this message is for you, the path is finally open. Biofeedback sessions to successfully restore this gamma state cost hundreds of dollars per hour in a clinical setting. An in-home biofeedback machine runs thousands of dollars very easily. The wealthy elite happily pay these prices to maintain their massive advantage over you. But what the Genius song delivers in 7 minutes is available to you today for a fraction of its true value. 4 powerful bonuses come perfectly packaged with it to support your journey. You get a special audio track designed specifically to increase your children's focus. You also receive the original prosperity text that the famous secret was secretly built upon. You get a beautiful guided visualization and a daily habits guide built to sustain the Gamma state permanently. Here is the deeper spiritual truth about waiting for your big breakthrough. The beautiful provision God arranged for you arrives as a pure recognition. Something already placed in your path becomes fully visible only when Gamma is finally restored. The chosen one who restores the receiver today does not magically receive something new. They finally see what was always waiting there for them. Waiting is absolutely not a neutral action when the divine arrangement is already in motion. Do not look for this specific frequency on YouTube or Spotify today. The random tracks circulating under similar names on those platforms have zero brain entrainment technology encoded inside them. The dark forces intentionally create these useless counterfeits just to distract you from the truth. They want you to stay trapped in a low vibration forever. The only authentic and anointed version is available through the protected link. The universe demands absolutely no risk from a chosen one stepping into their power. If you do not feel the immediate energetic shift in your life, every single penny is quickly returned to you. That is a pure energetic exchange governed by complete and total trust. You have absolutely nothing to lose and a magnificent new timeline to gain. The link is waiting safely in the description and in the pinned comment below. The physical tool is absolutely not the final destination of your journey. The tool simply restores the broken receiver so the divine destination can be recognized when it arrives. God does not require you to purchase anything to be truly loved or chosen by heaven. What was described just now is simply one effective way the receiver is restored today. Whether that physical path is for you or not, the truth of this powerful message belongs to you entirely. Now, let us go much deeper into what is waiting for you in this new era. For the chosen one whose spirit deeply confirmed what was described earlier, the path remains fully open in the description and the pinned comment. That is the absolute last time it will be mentioned today. What follows right now belongs entirely to your spiritual ceiling. We must lock in this magnificent frequency before you step back into the ordinary world. The enemy is waiting for you to simply forget the profound truth you just heard. You survived the longest and most brutal winter of your entire earthly life. Now, the beautiful spring of your spiritual awakening is blooming everywhere around you. The people who laughed at your massive dreams are now forced to watch you ascend. They will constantly try to find logical explanations for your sudden and explosive success. But they will completely fail because human logic cannot possibly explain a true divine miracle. You are operating on a frequency they cannot even perceive. The pitch-black darkness has officially retreated from your beautiful timeline forever. The dawn of your new era is shining its brightest rays onto your spiritual crown right now. You are no longer the broken empath who begs for tiny scraps of attention. The fierce crucible of pain has forged you into the untouchable master of your reality, and from this exact moment on, your pure energy demands absolute respect, without a single word ever being spoken aloud. They will undoubtedly try to test your iron boundaries one last time. The toxic narcissists will quietly reach out to see if the old version of you is still alive. But you will absolutely not answer their desperate calls anymore. You will stand firmly in your quiet authority and let them starve completely outside your gates. The heavy generational chains are permanently shattered because you refuse to surrender your brilliant light to the consuming darkness. You are the glorious cycle breaker. But you must be incredibly careful as this divine transmission comes to an end. The dark forces will fiercely attack your mind the second you look away from this screen. They desperately want you to doubt every single miracle that was just promised to you today. You need to establish a permanent energy receiving station right now. Hit the subscribe button immediately to anchor yourself at the highest vibrational frequency. This simple physical action builds an impenetrable shield around your fragile aura. Heaven is actively watching your physical response in this exact passing second. I have spent countless hours in deep prayer, fighting spiritual battles to deliver this urgent message to you. Will you selfishly hoard this massive blessing, or will you partner with the divine forces? The universe strictly requires a bold demonstration of your new faith today. You absolutely cannot keep this fiery light hidden while the rest of the world suffers in total agony. If this powerful message has reignited the dying faith inside your chest, do not keep this great blessing entirely to yourself. There is a rare soul out there bleeding in the dark of despair right now. They desperately need a guiding light to survive another brutal and lonely night. Share this video with someone who needs it to actively multiply your own blessing. Sowing the beautiful seed of hope today is multiplying the massive harvest for your future tomorrow. The spiritual contract is almost complete, but it strictly requires your physical signature. You must boldly declare your absolute readiness to the universe before the heavenly courts officially close. The massive wealth transfer is hovering right above your head, waiting for permission to land. Do not let ancient fear stop you from boldly claiming what is rightfully yours. You have already paid the heavy price in endless tears and painful isolation. Now it is time to collect your ultimate reward. The universe absolutely does not reward the people who hesitate at the finish line. It richly rewards the brave souls who step forward and proudly claim their divine inheritance. Your entire bloodline has been waiting for many centuries for someone exactly like you to arrive. You are the ultimate living answer to the desperate prayers of your ancient ancestors. They always knew that one day a powerful cycle breaker would rise and shatter the heavy illusions. That chosen one is you. Type exactly 777 down in the comments below to seal this glorious reality. Let that powerful angel number stand as a permanent monument of your spiritual victory today. Every time the enemy tries to whisper vicious lies into your ear, they will be violently pushed back by this divine seal. You are officially locking the heavenly gates behind you, so nothing toxic can ever follow you. Your beautiful frequency is permanently secured against the shadows. Go forward into this beautiful new chapter with your head held extremely high. You are perfectly protected by the absolute highest angelic forces in the entire universe. No weapon ever formed against your rising empire will be allowed to prosper again. Remember that you were chosen specifically because you were truly strong enough to carry the heavy crown. The beautiful miracle you prayed for is already waiting patiently for you at the front door. You are deeply loved, and you are truly unstoppable.